should not have to worry that when you sign up for a credit card, you're signing away all your rights.
President Barack Obama holds a town hall meeting in Rio Rancho touting credit card reform, and he wants it done by Memorial Day. Good afternoon. Glad you're with us. I'm Mike Powers. At least 1,500 people welcomed President Barack Obama to Rio Rancho this morning. He spoke and answered questions for about an hour at Rio Rancho High School. News 13's Michael Herzenberg is live at the high school where the event wrapped up about a half an hour ago. Michael?
Mike, the president spoke about the need to protect consumers from credit card companies, specifically companies that promise low interest rates but reserve the rights to raise those interest rates at any time. The president said this is an important time for change.
But here's what I also know. If you're willing to do your part, if our companies are willing to do their part, if those of us in Washington are willing to do our part, if we all work together, then I promise you this. Years from now, you will be able to look back at this moment as the time when the American people once again came together to reclaim their future.
The president wrapped up his speech and answered about a half a dozen questions, none of them on credit card reform. He chose people at random, alternating between men and women. The question ranged from health care reform to legislation that would make it easier for unions to form. One man from Berlin asked about getting beyond partisanship in Congress. Mr. Obama said some Republicans disagree with him on the stimulus package and on the high spending. He said with the economy in such bad shape, there is little choice.
In that circumstance, the only person or the only entity that can fill the gap is the government. And so that's why we passed the Recovery Act. It's not because we're not worried about deficits. It's because if we didn't do anything, this economy could have really gone into a tailspin. But I make that point only to say there's some Republicans who just philosophically were opposed to the idea of this recovery package.
Mr. Obama also mentioned a disagreement on health care reform, how some Republicans want free market solutions, something with which Mr. Obama does not agree. But everyone we spoke with in the audience was very pleased with the event. There were a few people in disagreement, but very few, and we couldn't catch up with any of them on the way out. Back to you.
All right, Michael, and I know you'll have a lot more later today. Thank you very much. Governor Richardson was in attendance. President Obama called him a great friend and one of the finest governors in the country. An estimated 1,500 to 2,300 people listened to the president live and in person this morning. While some just wanted a chance to glimpse at the president, others said it was strictly business and hoped their concerns would be heard. Crystal Gutierrez is live in Rio Rancho as well, and she continues our team coverage. Crystal?
Well, Mike, before they even stepped foot in the gym, many already had questions in mind that they hoped would be addressed today. Pressing issues like the stimulus package, health care, education, even the war. Now, as they came out, some thought that their concerns were addressed. Others said it was the same old song and dance.
He always has such a positive message about everything, and he's always up front about any question you ask him. So I believe we're on the right track.
I guess what I heard is basically what he's been saying every time you turn the TV on.
Now in place.
For those who came to hear just about the credit crisis agenda, they were a little disappointed. They say there wasn't too much new information. Still, others were happy the discussion trailed off onto issues like health care. And for the most part, they say they do believe Obama listens. But the even bigger question today is, will this open ear of this morning's meeting make a difference? Not everyone agrees.
Yes, I think he does listen. I'd like to see him, make more changes.
I think it's good to get the public involved. But other than that, I don't know how much more of an input it's going to have.
Now, one man who attended today said with the sheer number of questions he had, they could have been here all night. Back to you, Mike.
I'm sure of that. All right, thank you very much, Crystal. Issues that some of those attended wish would have been addressed are the Iraq War and student loans. Protesters did line the streets outside the president's town hall meeting today, right along the streets. And News 13's Alex Tomlin joins us now live from Rio Rancho High School, too, where she talked to some of those protesters earlier. Alex?
Mike, the crowds are starting to thin out here, but about 300 people lined the streets in hopes of getting their voices heard. Now, some supporters were for Obama, but against some of his policies, while others were flat out against the Democratic leader.
I want to support the people who are asking for more accountability and government spending. And we'd like to have an audit of the stimulus bill.
Why are you here?
I'm here to stand up for United States veterans and tell President Hussein Barack Obama that 9/11's not a joke. Don't be flying our aircraft over our city, New York City, right here, Rio Rancho, since the 80s.
And do you think you got your message across?
I hope so, and it doesn't matter.
The wide variety of protesters even had them arguing with themselves at times, but most say they just hope the president heard their opinions. Mike?
Alex, thank you very much for that update. Now, even teachers took part in today's protests. They say they want APS to use federal stimulus money to save educational assistants' jobs. Today's KRQE.com web question asks, do you think Congress will pass meaningful credit card reform by Memorial Day? To take part, just log on to KRQE.com. And this is a live picture at Kirtland Air Force Base in southeast Albuquerque. There's a good look at Air Force One, and that is where President Obama will depart around 12:15, although he may be running a little bit late. We will carry his departure live when it happens.